Are you there, Duke? Hi.
Hello, Lee.
Uh, yeah, so we are going live now. So, yeah, we welcome James Duke Ellingson back. It's NFL divisional recap. Is this the best football weekend of the year? Yes or no, Duke?
Typically, yes, I would suggest that we had two very good games, one bizarrely interesting game, and one obvious blowout where we could all go to bed early. So we weren't 4 for 4 as we often are on divisional round weekend, but it was pretty close.
I'm going to hit you with some rapid fire stuff to open things up, and then we can go back and talk about things from the beginning.
Okay.
Was Brandon Cook's catch a catch,
No,
or was it the right call?
it was the right call as the rules are interpreted and applied.
We've seen different calls interpreted from NFL referees before on what looks to be the same play. Are you okay with the inconsistency?
No, and that's everybody's problem with the application part of it.
So the Buffalo Bills lost a game. Should they have won that game based on, like, if they decided that Brandon Cooks caught the ball, would you have been okay with the Bills winning that game?
Yes.
So they got
You
the call
wanted rapid
right.
fire.
Yeah, so they got the call right, but you would have been okay with Buffalo winning it based off of a Brandon Cooks catch that you are saying that they got correct, so they would have got wrong if they called it the catch. Does that make any
Well, what I
sense?
was trying to say was by the rule, the letter of the law, they apparently, based on the definition of a catch as it was read to me in the rule book, it was the right call. I still think in my mind's eye, based on every other type of similar situation I've seen, which is a simultaneous catch, that should have been a catch. I'm just saying the way they read it and the way they explained it, they got it right, but I still think it's a catch in my mind.
Okay, so the Buffalo Bills lose to the Denver Broncos 33-30 in overtime. Sean McDermott gets fired after the game. Did Buffalo need to make a move to fire McDermott?
I would answer that by saying I think they needed to do it. I don't necessarily think it should have happened based on his track record. But when you have arguably the best player in the league or one of the top two best players in the league, and you have been to 6 consecutive division round, and first, by the way, first time in Super Bowl era history that a team has gone to 6 consecutive, at least division round playoff games and never been in a Super Bowl because of that, I think, given all the opportunities they've missed over those years, I think they had to do something. I just feel bad for the guy.
Do you think
Lots
he's
of teams
a
would love to have a coach take them to 6 straight division
right?
championships
Do you
or
think he's
division
a
rounds.
coach that other people will want to hire right now?
You know what? That's a good question. Knee jerk, I would say probably not. I think if he wants to coach this year coming up, he's going to need to get in line and go through the interview process. And he may not exactly have his choice of teams, but on one side, if you look at his regular season record, a lot of teams would love to have a coach with that kind of consistency. Could he be as good a coach with lesser talent at the quarterback position? Lots of coaches find out that they're not as good a coach as they were with a great quarterback. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, he's one that I don't think I have a good feel on, right? Like, John Harbaugh gets fired, he's going to get another job if he wants to coach. If Mike Tomlin wants to coach, he'll get another job. There are other guys in the league, like somebody said yesterday, if Nick Sirianni gets fired, would he get another job? I'm like, probably not. Like
Hmm.
as a head coach, I mean.
Right.
And so I kind of feel like Sean McDermott's right in the middle of that. As
Yeah.
you said, if he goes to a team that doesn't have a good quarterback, and he's kind of a defensive guy anyway, how well is he really going to do? That the stat in the Buffalo Detroit, or Denver game that really just blew me away was the fact that Josh Allen is now, after that game, 0-7 lifetime in overtimes. an 0-3 in the playoffs, 0-7
Mhm.
lifetime. That's
Yep.
wild to me.
Yep. And the one time that he should have won, and it had nothing to do with him, and ironically everything to do with Sean McDermott, was the 13-second game. Right there was absolutely. And you look back at that disaster, how
Mhm.
they couldn't have understood that by kicking the ball in a squib kick, making Kansas City field it and run it, even if they ran it 30 yards, the game would have been over, and they never would have had a chance to kick that tying field goal.
Yeah.
So that was one that, and that's why you can't always blame the quarterback just with the record you just laid out. It's not always on him. Yesterday or Saturday, I think, was ultimately, and it was because of what happened prior to that interception, really, that put the Bills in the position where they were.
We saw Josh Allen in tears after the game, and we saw some of his offensive linemen in tears after he was in tears. What do the Buffalo Bills need now?
Apparently, a new coach.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that I could have answered for you. I guess what I was asking was, what do they need in a new coach that's going to be able to take them further and over the hump that something Sean McDermott could not do?
well, it's funny, right? Because if you think about personnel, that ends up being laid in the lap of the general manager, and I think that's the guy that maybe got off lightly here, as it kind of plays out with the ownership. But we
Got
know
off
they
lightly, he got
don't.
a promotion. No, he got a
Yeah.
promotion. He not only is the general manager, he's now the president of football operations. Like, he got a bump.
Well, there you go.
Brandon
So
Bean. Yeah.
yeah, they need a 1A receiver. They need the kind of guy that so many of the great teams have, the one guy you can always go to, typically bigger, stronger, more rangy. They need that. They need defensive help more than anything. Uh, I don't think they. I mean, if James Cook is healthy, I think they have a great running game. I think their offensive line is fine. Now, Josh Allen covers over a lot of problems with any offensive line, right? His ability to move around, but I mean, they're not far away. It's not like this team, is a disaster. But now they've got New England obviously back and challenging for the AFC East. And this was the thing that I think is so frustrating to everybody this year is that they got into the playoffs with no Patrick Mahomes on the horizon, no Lamar Jackson, no Joe Burrow. I mean, this was the year. You think about the quarterbacks in the AFC that they had to face or were going to face. It was going to be a combination of whether it was Trevor Lawrence, Stroud, Drake May, Bo Nix, Jared Stidham. I mean, in every case, they had the quarterback, one on one, 100% in their favor. And this was the year they didn't have to go through all those landmines. And I know they had to be on the road and all of that, but boy, oh boy, they just blew an absolute. I mean, think about it right now, right? Would you rather, if you're the Bills, I mean, going to New England this week, I don't think would be super daunting. And you got the best quarterback, and they just
Yeah.
they blew a golden opportunity. They might never have this again.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think that their path could get any, not that it was an easy path, especially
Hmm.
being on the road for all of the
Yeah.
games, but with the lack of experience at the quarterback position against them, they won't go through another time like this, which
No,
is,
and
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 that's why
that's
Josh Allen was in tears.
yeah. Yeah, and I think he was in tears because he knew full well that, we focus on the turnovers. The one at the end of the first half was just ridiculous. I
Oh,
mean, if you think about the fact that they had no timeouts and he was running down the middle of the field, and at the very, very, very least, he was going to have to either slide or get tackled, and the clock was going to run out. And you wonder what was going through his head. But the one I think he's probably most in tears over is the miss on third and whatever it was before the kick the field goal when Dawson Knox was running wide open. And that's a throw any quarterback should make most of the time, let alone Josh Allen. He knows now he makes that throw, Knox walks in, and the game's over. So yeah, he's shedding some tears over, the
yeah.
sack, the first sack of the third quarter when he fumbled. That's just football, right? He was trying to
Yeah.
throw the ball, he got hit.
Yeah.
The interception that he threw kind of down the field was odd. It just felt like he was taking a shot he didn't need to take. But the missed throw and the fumble at the end of the half. Those two things combined, and we're not even having this conversation. And Sean McDermott still has a job.
Yeah, and what I think is really interesting is we always focus on the stats, right? The numbers, and we say this many turnovers, but turnovers are different.
Mm-hmm.
Turnovers can be, you throw a ball way down the field, and yes, the other team flexes and they all run over to the crowd and everybody poses, and it's awesome, but it's just like a punt.
Yep.
And on a third down, if the ball's just dropped and you punt, they're probably in the exact same spot, which,
Yep.
you know, yes, you don't love the turnover, but it's just like an incomplete pass at the end of the day. But then
Mm-hmm.
there are other turnovers like he had at the end of that first half that you just have no idea what you were thinking. And it's 3 points the other way. And that to me, like that play to me is what got Sean McDermott fired.
Yeah.
I believe that
Yeah.
because
Well, that's good. That's a
he
good point, right? Because that's strategy. That's end of half, kind of right. You got to understand what are your chances of getting in field goal range with whatever they had, 25 seconds or 20 seconds and no timeouts. It's almost nil. So Mike Vrabel would have knelt down and just gone to the dressing room and
right.
right just regrouped. And so absolutely those are the types of plays that get coaches fired.
Because you put your quarterback in a position to think that it's all on him, to think he's got to make a play. And look, Josh Allen should never have done that. Like, you have no idea what he was thinking
Hmm.
in that spot, but he never would have been in that spot if
Right.
they just had done the right thing. And to
Yep.
me, that one play is what got him fired.
Yeah.
Because other coaches, as you said, would never have done that.
Yep.
And I guess the strategy in Buffalo now would be, to me, are you going to hire an offensive coach that's going
Right.
to really be able to accentuate what Josh Allen can do, bring somebody in, as you said, as a receiver? I mean, you like some of their parts. Shakir is just an unbelievable kind of
Yep.
second guy.
He's
Uh,
Puka Nakua 2.0.
right.
Hmm.
And if you can bring in a big, strong guy, get your tight ends. I mean, their tight ends are pretty good.
Yep.
Uh, James Cook was great. Like, you're able to do some things offensively, but then you would worry. Like, the Buffalo Bills weren't great defensively this year, but they've been pretty good as far as under Sean McDermott's concerned. And do they get significantly worse with the focus that's off of them? It's a major transition point in Buffalo right now to see where they're going to go.
Yeah, and before the
So,
Bill fans all lose hope, Peyton Manning, I think I read, was 8 years into his career before he finally broke through, right? Now, and a lot of his
mhm,
kryptonite for the Patriots, obviously, and the Bills have had the
yeah,
Chiefs, and so it's not like just because it's been 8 years for Josh Allen that it's never going to happen. There's lots of
right,
lots of upside there for
right.
sure. Hey,
And well, I was just going to
sorry, I
say,
was
not
just
everybody's Tom Brady and Drake May, right? Like, not
it's true.
everybody just has this great success early, gets to play quarterbacks like CJ Stroud in a playoff game. Uh, you know,
And Justin Herbert and
oh
and
my God,
now Jared Stidham. I got to learn how to say his
talk
name. Is
about
it
it.
Stidham or is it Stitham? It's Stidham, right? Stidham. See, I don't even know
Jarrett
how to say the
Stidham.
guy's name. Stidham.
Stidham.
I was gonna say,
You won't
speaking
be,
of
you won't have to know how to say it after
no,
this week anyway, so it'll be fine.
on that note, and speaking of coaching blunders that guys would like to have back, I'd love to know how Sean Payton feels about his decision on that play. You've just gotten the pass interference call in overtime to get yourself comfortably in field goal range, and it was quite evident, right, that they were really just trying to maybe squeeze a couple more yards out, and he thought it would be a really good idea to have his quarterback run basically what looked like the attempt at a quarterback sweep in Bo Nix, and he kind of goes down awkwardly, breaks a bone in his foot, was able to get up and throw a lollipop down the field because it was cover zero and blitz, and he almost completed it, and then got the pass interference and won the game. But why are you putting your quarterback in harm's way unnecessarily on that play? I just think Sean Payton, in his heart of hearts, has got to be going, we were in field goal range. The premise was, let's get a few more yards. Why did I not hand it off to a running back and let him get 2 or
Mhm.
3 yards? I just don't. I didn't understand the play call because he actually lost what 3 yards on it, something like that.
Yeah.
So, anyways, just again, you just think that. And now, how about the NFL? Right? They went from a potential May versus Knicks, or maybe even an Allen versus May Part 3 for the year, AFC East supremacy on the line, to Denver, New England with Jared Stidham, and they got the TV execs have got to be shaking their heads.
Well, I was going to ask you, well, a lot there first. With the Denver situation, I'm now seeing some reports that I know what Sean Payton told us. He told us
Hmm.
what play it was.
Right.
There are some people that watch Bo Nix get up from that and then throw the next pass down the field, and then on the kneel down
Right.
looked awkward
Hmm.
and looked like, was that the play that he hurt himself on? Um, and then of course you see when stuff like this happens and you never know for sure, you see all kinds of like crazy reports. I did see a couple of reports that it happened in the locker room after the game. Like, and that's
Well,
that's no, I don't know if those are true. All I'm saying is you get this really weird circumstance where nobody really on the field saw exactly what happened. He didn't show. I
mm,
mean, when you break a bone in your foot, in your ankle, I'm gonna think that you're probably hobbling. Like
well,
adrenaline's one
yeah.
thing, Duke, but breaking a bone in your ankle is another thing. The guy's had major ankle problems before, and all of a sudden Sean Payton comes out in the presser like 20 minutes later. Yep, he's gonna have surgery in Alabama, and it's gonna be Tuesday. Like it's all worked out already. I'm like, how do they know this so
Yeah.
quickly? And
Well,
it didn't. I don't know. I just thought the whole thing was what I call murky. It was just
I would agree.
circumstances.
I would agree. It's murky the way it was communicated after the game. I mean, I think to your point, first of all, I'm not a doctor. There are a number of bones in our feet that maybe don't necessarily cause immediate pain or cause you, to your point, to hobble or even to know you're hurt. Did look to me like he kind of flexed his foot a bit when he got up, and I thought he went down awkwardly. But whatever happened, happened. I just think to me, and I think somebody identified it as that play, and then they said he played 2 more snaps, kneeled down, and the game was over. But wasn't there a player in college football this year after one of the playoff games that broke his foot jumping up
Yep.
into the stands to
Yep.
celebrate with him?
y-
And so
Yep.
he maybe
Exactly.
Bo was celebrating in the dressing room a little too vociferously and fell and rolled his
Well,
ankle on
yeah.
someone else's foot.
To the point, it's just a very innocuous play, and all of a sudden, the
Yep.
quarterback's not going to be available for the AFC Championship game, which is bizarre. On the bigger picture, we've seen this year. I don't know if it's more than ever, but like I guess I'll segue into one of the games that there's not really that much to talk about. San Francisco just didn't have anybody left.
Yeah.
Not that even their talent might have beat the Seattle Seahawks, but I've just never seen a year or can't remember a year where so many important people on teams have been hurt
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
been the reason why, like Lamar Jackson being hurt in the year was the reason why Baltimore wasn't there. And like just so many guys that aren't getting to the end in the NFL. Is that just the way it goes some years? Or do you see a problem there?
Well, I mean, I've said this for a number of years. I think the strength of these players has gotten to the point where, I mean, they are so fast and so strong and so lean. And I believe a lot of the Achilles injuries we're seeing, the non-contact stuff, is just a result of literally the torque that they put on their bodies in the off season, and then what they ask their bodies to do during games, and their ligaments basically can't support it. They're just so
Mhm.
strong and so lean. It's been interesting to see the number of key players and going into the playoffs as well. I mean, Nico Collins, if he could have played, now I'm not sure CJ Stroud was having a hard time throwing it to anybody on the same team, but if Nico Collins had played, right, would that make a difference? Obviously, George Kittle going out last week. I mean, the players that are getting hurt, the value those players have to their team, and I think the Broncos now without Bo Nix, I think I read this morning they may be without two more offensive linemen, and I don't know if Cortland Sutton's going to play. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they're beat up too, and so sometimes it's just pure luck because the Patriots got healthy at the end, right, and got Williams back, and one of their linebackers, Spillane, came back. It's like all the cards are falling on their side. Isn't that strange? And it never happened to New England before in all these years, and now all of a sudden they're getting lucky.
Mm.
First time that's really ever happened in the
Yeah,
franchise's history.
I did see that kind of tweet meme that was going around that, and I'm really thankful too. Like, there are some people that just haven't seen since the second grade.
I know.
Now they're teenagers and they haven't seen since second grade. They hadn't seen New England win, and that now
No,
this torturous like few years is over.
I know. They're out of the desert, out of
So,
the wilderness, and back, and now they get to go play
so
the guy we can't pronounce his last name.
yeah, so when you go and you watch, like, the Seattle Seahawks just trucked the San
Oh,
Francisco 49ers. And,
yep.
sometimes I'm hoping that we get a rematch of a previous Super Bowl with Seattle and New England, because I can't even imagine. Yeah, I guess the Rams, but they're kind of banged up too. All I was thinking last night during that Bears Rams game is, like, what if we ever got Jared Stidham against Caleb Williams in the Super Bowl? And, like, what my interest would be in the Super Bowl. So back to the Rams, Chicago Bears. Have you ever seen anything like, how would you describe that fourth down touchdown that Chicago scored at the end of the game? And, like, how would you compare it to other plays that you've ever seen?
You know what? It's last week. I thought the throw that Williams made late in the game on that 4th and 8 against Green Bay to keep their hopes alive was maybe the most improbable kind of fourth down throw that you're going to see in that circumstance, and not like a Hail Mary that bounces around and somehow somebody catches it. That was one where he had to put it in a perfect spot, in a throwing away from running away to his left, but
Mhm.
it was like bizarro world Hail Mary last night. I mean, the play started, I think, on the 11-yard line. Is that where it was? I believe the line of scrimmage. And by the time Williams threw the ball, he was on his own 45, or yeah, on LA's 45,
Yeah.
falling backwards. And I thought what was most impressive about the throw was he had to put it, like, he couldn't have overthrown it, right? He couldn't have just thrown it. If he threw it at the back of the end zone, we all have been just kind of going, okay, whatever. But he threw it in a perfect spot into the end zone. Like, it wasn't short and it wasn't long. It was right in the middle of the back of the end zone in that situation. I don't know what the LA defenders were doing. I really don't know what was
Well,
going
how
on
could you
back
even
there.
defend, like, the eyes of Sean McVay were like, I would not want to go back into that office.
No,
Even though
I know.
even though they even though they won, I
Yeah,
don't know that I could go back. Like,
no,
what were the defenders thinking being in front of a guy that's in the end zone?
I don't know. Like, you're taught, especially in the NFL, to defend the goal line because you only got 10 yards, right? But that's when the play is happening at the 10 or the 5, where you got to be able to defend that goal line. And if they can throw it perfectly over, more power to them. But when they're 45 yards away, I mean, you just got to be. And there was two LA Ram defenders in the camera, right? They were right there.
Mhm.
You talk about misjudging the trajectory of a ball. I don't know what 14 was doing, but wow. I mean, imagine if they lost that game. Imagine that. And
Yeah.
by the way, did you know that in the Super Bowl era, there's been four, we'll call them walk-off touchdowns at the end of the game in the last play of the fourth quarter to go to overtime. And in all four cases, the teams that scored that touchdown lost in overtime. So maybe
Really?
you don't want to be doing that, but yeah, like, it's just it was the single most improbable touchdown pass I think I've ever seen. Because Hail Marys to me aren't like, they're what's the word? You're practicing it. You're doing it
Right.
purposely, and you're getting a break. Somehow the ball's going to bounce, it's going to hit somebody, and you're going to catch it. That's not improbable. That's just lucky. What he did in that situation was just the most bizarre way to tie a football game that I've ever seen. And I thought they would win after that. for sure. And then they got the Rams 3-and-out to start. Exact same premise as the Denver Buffalo overtime, right? Team A gets the ball from the overtime on the kickoff, has to punt. Team B has a chance now to win the game. They throw an interception. Caleb Williams, Josh Allen, and then the other team gets the ball, goes
Yeah.
down, and wins the game. But it's hard to believe Chicago couldn't finish the job after that.
Do you think that interception was Caleb Williams' fault, DJ Moore's fault? Was it the Bears getting a little bit too big when they didn't need that much yardage to get into field goal range? Like that situation, how would you kind of place the blame on that situation?
I'm glad you said that last part because to me it was a combination of things. It looked for sure, for whatever reason, that DJ Moore didn't think the ball was going to be thrown near him or to him, and he seemed to slow up or almost give up on the play. So I think you got to give him a lion's share. But I thought the same thing. I thought it felt like Caleb Williams thought I can make any throw anywhere
Mhm.
on this field, and it's going
Right.
to work out because I have a world-class arm and everything is fall. Like it just felt like it was a play he didn't need to make and a throw and maybe a design that the team didn't need to make. Maybe a bit of arrogance on his part and Ben Johnson's part.
I agree. I just didn't think they needed to do that.
Hmm.
And the throw wasn't open anyway. Like people are bashing DJ Moore, which I get. It looked like he
Yeah.
stopped and didn't,
Yep.
continue through the ball. But people are talking about it like if he didn't stop and he did continue through the
Right.
ball, then he just would have caught it.
No, no,
Well,
no, no.
no,
That play was unlikely to be a completed pass. And I tell
right.
you what, I used to joke about DBs who the reason they're DBs is because they can't catch. How
Hmm.
about the catch the kid made on that play? Unbelievable. Almost as
Yeah.
good as Carlton Davis's interception in the afternoon game. But yeah, no, I think you're right. I think the play was doomed to start with. I don't think they expected it would end in an interception.
The Rams must feel like they got like that's it. Do you think that that's the Rams break to go on and win the Super Bowl?
I don't. I don't think anybody on either side now is going to beat Seattle, and I think the Rams, just like San Francisco, maybe not to the same extent because they're a little bit healthier, but that game was a slugfest last night. That was an absolute, that's one of the most physical games I can remember watching. And it was cold and it was miserable. And the Rams have got to find a way now to, right, take a breath, come back home, get ready to go. And playing Seattle's defense is a meat grinder. Now, that being said, Stafford and McVay have had some success against Seattle, so I think I'm expecting it to be a much closer game. But I don't think anybody's beating Seattle on either side. I think Seattle right now I would give them a very, very, very
Right.
strong case to win the Super Bowl.
So I would have said that and agreed with you if the Chicago Bears won that game last night,
Mm,
but you're the one that always says this, which is why I'm a little bit surprised that give me the best head coach, give me the best quarterback in a big moment, and
mm,
I'll take those guys. And yeah, Seattle's playing really well, but the Rams have a better quarterback and the Rams have a better head coach. And now you're playing a team for a third time, and you should not be surprised really by anything. Not that they would do because you're going to pull out some tricks, but you shouldn't be surprised at the tricks that they're going to throw out either if you've really done your homework. And that's where I think maybe this game is more even than we think and is the best head coach and the best quarterback who just basically got very fortunate to beat the Chicago Bears are going to get right back into where they're comfortable, whether that's a little bit better, a team that they know a lot better, and feel like we just got past the toughest thing we're going to have to
mm.
pass here.
Yeah,
So
no, that's all. That's
I'm
all.
as a yeah,
That's all fair. No, and I don't disagree. I would suggest though that maybe the delta between Sean McVay and Mike Macdonald is not as big as people think. I mean, McVay's a much more well-known commodity, has won a Super Bowl, all of that, get it. And McDonald's still proving himself, but that's a great coach as well. I just think it's the ability for the Rams to you know rejig in the next 6 days and find a way to get to that level again physically. I just think it's going to be too much to ask them.
Right.
But I hope you're right. Vegas thinks you're right because it's a 2.5 point spread, and effectively that means it's on a neutral field. It's dead even, right? So Vegas agrees with you more than I agree with you. So you should take some solace in that.
Do you think that CJ Stroud can get to the level of bringing his team to a Super Bowl after what you watched the other day?
Well, I mean, it was 2 games in a row, right? I mean, really, he was equally awful against
Yep.
Pittsburgh, and
Yep.
yeah, they won because Pittsburgh is horrendously awful on offense. But yeah, yesterday was one of those games where you started to feel sorry for a quarterback, and it looked to me, and it was interesting. Somebody mentioned, whether they should have maybe put Davis Mills in at the end of the first half, because I heard somebody on ESPN this morning say, coming out of the half, there's no way in the world CJ Stroud was going to be able to come back and lead this team to victory. He was completely mentally done. And I felt the same way. And in retrospect, I wondered if maybe they should have maybe made a quarterback change. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to come back from 5 fumbles, 5 interceptions in 2 playoff games. No one's ever done that. Not a record you want. And
No.
I wonder how much faith that organization has in him, and he's coming into his first contract extension year, right? So do they want to pay him big money, or do they want to really have to hedge their bets here with him?
Quick thought on when D'Amico Ryans punted with 4:20 to go. As a Patriots fan, you must have been happy,
Yeah.
but I thought it was most ridiculous. I know it was 4th and 18,
Mhm.
but I thought it was one of the most ridiculous decisions. It was basically just saying, okay, the game's over.
Oh yeah, it was a give up for, and you know what? It's funny that you say that because if you think about it logically, you go for it and you don't make it. New England's going to do the same thing they did anyways, which was kneel down effectively and just run the clock out.
Right.
Nothing was going to change, but why not take one last shot? Maybe he didn't want CJ Stroud to have to throw another pass and humiliate himself further, but it was a white flag. We're done, and let's just get out of here.
So as you look ahead, and I hate to put this much pressure on a team now that you're cheering for,
Mm,
how how big of a I don't want to call it a choke job, I guess. How big of a disappointment would it be for the New England Patriots if they lost to Jared Stidham in the AFC Championship game?
absolutely humongous. There's no way, absolutely no way, short of Drake May turning it over, I would say 4 times, that they could lose that game, or they should lose it. And it's not even because of it's the New England defense has been lights out. Now again, I get who they're playing, but in their ability to rush and to cover,
Mhm.
especially in the secondary, has been a big eye opener to me. And I just don't think there's any way. Stidham hasn't thrown a pass in anger, right, in almost 2 years. Like, you cannot
Yeah.
expect that guy to go up against this defense playing as well as they are and win. I mean, to play 60 minutes, not going to happen. And the Patriots won't beat themselves. It's almost like the old Belichick days, right? They're not going to put themselves in. I shouldn't say that because May, tell you what, if May, that fumble on the 5 yard line early in the game had been recovered by Houston, that game could have turned a lot, right? So May's got to be super careful, and I think New England needs to be very conservative with their offensive approach because I don't think Denver can. If Denver scores 17 offensive points, I'd be shocked.
Right. I can't remember a time where like a team that still I know they had a really good year, but the New England Patriots still a young team, young quarterback. They're going on the road in the AFC Championship game. You could have put that to me and said, "Okay, New England's going to be on the road, but they're going to be in the AFC Championship game with Drake May."
Yeah,
And in my mind, I'm like, "Okay, well, they're going to be in Buffalo, they're going to be in Kansas City, they're going to be in Baltimore, they're going to be,
yeah.
somewhere that's very, very difficult to play." And they're probably not going to be favored to win the football game. And now it's like, if they don't win this game, like, is it a season lost for the Patriots?
Yeah. Well, it's a huge, unbelievable opportunity lost. And I said earlier, I don't think anybody beats Seattle, but we've seen way too many Super Bowl games go back to 2007, right? I mean, too many Super Bowls that oh, this team can't lose. There's absolutely no way. You
Yeah,
just never know in a football game. So for them not to have that opportunity, given what's transpired for them and all the dominoes falling into place,
yeah.
absolutely opportunity lost. You don't know if you'll ever get back.
Is the Buffalo job or the Baltimore job now the better
Mm.
job? The last 2 MVPs of the league don't have coaches right now, which is Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, obviously. Uh, which which job? Because you had Baltimore at number 1 last week, and I thought
Hmm.
most of them would be filled by now. They're not. Kevin Stefanski is the coach of Atlanta. John Harbaugh has gone to the New York Giants, but there's still a lot of jobs out there. Which one's better, Baltimore or Buffalo?
That's an absolutely great point. And somebody suggested to me this morning that maybe Sean McDermott should go knock on Baltimore's door. Because to your point, wouldn't it be nice to go from Josh Allen to Lamar Jackson in one fell swoop? Um, Boy, which job would I take? Hmm. I mean, Buffalo's got the new stadium. Buffalo's got the unbelievable fan base. They still have Josh Allen. They got a lot of component parts. That franchise. I mean, it's kind of like being. I don't mean to use the analogy of the Toronto Maple Leafs, but if anybody could come and take the Buffalo Bills to a World Championship, they'd have a statue, right? I mean, that would be the ultimate. So I think
Yep.
if I'm a coach, I'd rather maybe go there than go to Baltimore. Not that the Baltimore job is any less desirable, but just the idea of being able to be the guy that takes Buffalo to the promised land. And oh,
Mhm.
by the way, you get Josh Allen in his prime for another, 5, 6 years.
Brian Daboll has been mentioned because he coached Josh Allen in college.
Right.
I wonder if that's a name, not that, you know, he's from Buffalo, which is, you know, it feels like you want a guy to come in there and go, "Yeah, we're gonna take this now all the way." And like a true, I'm gonna call them Buffalonians. I'm not sure what the exact term is there,
Mhm.
but people like sink themselves into
Yep.
that culture in Buffalo, right? Like you don't just go in and be a transplant and go, I'm gonna live in Florida, but I'll come and coach the Buffalo Bills. Like that's not how it goes.
I guess
So
if
I
I
wonder
was
about
Yeah, I guess if I was a Buffalo Bill fan, and if I asked a Buffalo Bill fan, how do you feel about Brian Daboll being your head coach? I don't know if you'd get a resounding yes from most of them. I know he was the OC there, but I don't know his record in New York and everything, the way it kind of went down and ended. I'm not sure, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want Mike Tomlin if I was a
no,
Buffalo Bills fan.
I don't think going from a defensive coach to a more defensive coach
Yep,
is the right way to go. And
yep,
that's why I don't think Sean McDermott will probably get the Baltimore job because Lamar Jackson's going to be heavily involved and Sean McDermott couldn't get Josh Allen over the hump and he's a
yep,
defensive coach.
yep.
So I'm not sure why the people in Baltimore would think that he is the answer to get them over the hump, but it's just fascinating. I love this league so much. I know you do too, because there's just so many different things on and off the field. But the New England Patriots in Denver, the AFC Championship game, the LA Rams in Seattle for the NFC Championship game coming up. Always great to talk to you, Mr. Ellingson. Thank you very much for your time.
Hey, what a blast to do this, especially in this kind of relaxed format with nobody telling you to get off the air. So fantastic. Enjoyed it.
We finish when we finish, Duke. But we are you got to get back to work, so we'll finish now.
Yeah, I got to
But
go.
yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, and we'll definitely talk to you soon.
Thanks, Lee. That was 40 minutes.